I just saw Pillion. It is one of the most explicit, uncomfortable, and brilliant films of the year. It features Alexander Skarsgård weaponizing his beauty in a way that I've never seen before. And it centers on a BDSM dynamic that made me question everything that I was watching. I'm giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10. It is bold, it is hot and steamy, and it features incredible performances. But, and this is a massive but, there's a character choice at the very end that I think I hated. It felt like a betrayal. So, is this a masterpiece of loneliness, or is it just cynical? To figure that out, I had to track down a secret screening in the middle of nowhere. Let me set the stage. To find this movie in November, I had to drive all the way out of Los Angeles to Santa Clarita. I arrive at Laemmle Newhall feeling completely out of my AMC element. I walk into the screening room and it's tiny. It seats maybe 30 people max, and it is empty. It's just me and one other woman sitting in the back. A minute later, an older gentleman walks in and sits a row behind me. That's it. That is the premiere crowd. 3 people. This wasn't because the movie is a flop. This was a strategic qualifying run. Studios do this thing where they sneak a movie into a theater for 1 week in Los Angeles County just to make it eligible for the Oscars and other awards before its actual wide release next year. That explains the random theater miles outside of the city and the total lack of marketing. Basically, we were seeing a ghost screening. And then, in this ghost screening, the most incredible small talk starts happening behind me. The woman asks the older man why he's there. He says, quite earnestly, that he loves anything Alexander Skarsgård does. He would watch the man read a phone book. The woman replies that she's there because she, in her words, wants to learn more about the LGBTQ+ community. And I'm sitting there, staring at the blank screen, thinking, oh no. Because I've seen the trailer. I know what this movie is. This isn't Heartstopper. This isn't a PSA about tolerance. This looked specific, intense, and definitely part of the plus sign in LGBTQ+. I wanted to turn around and warn them, but I didn't. I just sat there, acutely aware of every breath in the room. And let me tell you, for the entire runtime, that theater was fascinatingly quiet. I didn't stand up and proclaim, hey, I'm gay, to the room, so I felt this weird self-consciousness. If I laughed at a dark joke, and there are many, would they think I was laughing at the gay content? Would it sound like discomfort? During one of the first sex scenes, where they are in wrestling gear, I heard the woman behind me go, oh, goodness. And the older man shifted in his seat a few times. The tension was palpable. But then later, during arguably the more aggressive sex scene on a camping trip, I heard them both laugh. It was a huge relief. It felt like they had finally settled in, maybe gotten comfortable with the film's specific language. But that silence, it changes how you watch a movie. And there's a saying that an individual might not be smart, but an audience is a genius. They respond collectively. They give you permission to feel things. But with 3 people, you are in an echo chamber of your own thoughts. You are hyper aware of your own reactions. At least I was. So when the lights came up, I was just confused. I was invested, I was captivated, but I was also deeply conflicted about the message specifically regarding the ending. Fortunately, I had that long commute back home to LA to really sit with it. And I'm dying for more people to see this movie. So as I said before, I'm giving Pillion an 8.5 out of 10. It is bold, the performances are fearless, and Harry Lighten's direction is superb. But what's holding me back from giving it a solid, upright, firm 9 is a character choice at the very end that I think I hated. Or maybe I just didn't want to accept it. So buckle up, we're going to deep dive into this one. So, should you watch Pillion? This is a very specific yes with a massive asterisk. The film centers on this visually unassuming pairing of Harry Melling and Alexander Skarsgård. And you know Harry Melling, he was Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter, and he was also the armless orator in Buster Scruggs. He has this unique, average, almost indefinable physicality. And then you have Alexander Skarsgård, who is Alexander Skarsgård. He's a vampire in True Blood. He's Tarzan, the Northman, a literal Viking god. Who is this movie for? You absolutely have to be able to handle mature and very explicit content. This movie does not shy away from the mechanics of sex, power, and submission. But if you can handle that, you'll be rewarded with a refreshing taste of dry British humor and a side of the very specific LGBTQ+ community. This is a movie for people who want bold, character-driven dramas that refuse to give you easy answers. Who is this movie not for? If you are that woman in my theater trying to get a baseline understanding of the queer community, turn back now. This is not a representative sample. This is not BDSM 101. It is intense, specific, and often uncomfortable. My spoiler-free verdict remains an 8.5 in that it's fascinating, surprising, hot and steamy, but my review comes with a disclaimer. I am a gay man, but I am not part of the BDSM community. So I spent the entire runtime grappling with one fundamental question. Is this a relationship or is this abuse? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have or don't care about spoilers, let's get into the autopsy. Okay, spoilers ahead. Let's start with Colin, because before we even get to the leather and the bikers, we need to understand who this man is. We meet Colin in his mid-30s. He lives at home. He works a menial job handing out parking tickets. And his big joy in life, his hobby, singing in a barbershop quartet with his dad. I love this detail. It is so specific. Barbershop quartets are nerdy, unusual, and frankly, something you associate with the past. It takes talent, sure, but nobody's really impressed by it. It's not cool. It's the opposite of the uber masculine biker world he's about to enter. And critically, a quartet is about blending in. It's about harmonizing, not standing out as a soloist. It tells us immediately that Colin is comfortable being part of a whole, fading into the background. He is safe. He is smothered. Harry Melling plays him as perfectly average. In the beginning, he has this unflattering, mid-legged hair parted down the middle. He doesn't look bad, but he doesn't look like a movie star. And that contrast is weaponized the moment he steps next to Alexander Skarsgård. One evening, he's at a pub trying to order crisps, and this is a brilliant character moment. Colin cannot decide what flavor he wants. He's paralyzed by the simplest choice. And then Ray steps in. Ray looms over him, grabs all the packets of crisps, tosses them to Colin, and pays. It's a power move. It's decisive. It's everything Colin isn't. Ray slips him a note on a Christmas card. They meet up in a high street alleyway on Christmas Day. Ray wordlessly ushers Colin to perform oral sex. No talking, no getting to know you, just action. And Colin, he is smitten. He texts Ray, and Ray ghosts him for months. And the film posits that Ray is a mystery to everyone, but I'd argue Colin is a mystery to himself. He is infantile in so many ways. His social life revolves around his parents. And look, his parents are sweet. They adore him. But you can see how suffocating that is. They're trying to set him up, trying to ensure his happiness because they know they won't be around forever. And they know he is deeply lonely. But does Colin want this? Does he want to be a sub? Or is he just relieved to not have to make decisions? Is he willing to put up with anything just to be close to someone as exceptionally attractive as Ray? I genuinely don't think he's happy in this role. We see glimpses of what he actually enjoys, singing while Ray plays piano, but it's always tamped down. He is a void wanting to be filled, and I mean beyond getting up the ass. Now, let's talk about Ray, Alexander Skarsgård. The movie knows exactly what it's doing with his casting. Skarsgård is a beast of a man. He is highly photogenic. And I would say every piece of leather gear looks incredible because his body is incredible. And I could seriously see people start wearing skin-tight leather jumpsuits in the future because of him. And Ray weaponizes this beauty. He plays it not as predatory, but as cold and aloof. He doesn't care if you like him. He loves 3 things: himself, his motorbike, and his dog. Everyone in the movie stares at him. Colin shows pictures of him to his coworkers who gasp at his looks. And because of this beauty, Ray gets away with behavior that, from any other person, would be totally unacceptable. Eventually, Ray invites Colin to his home. And this is where Colin is, I would say, naively initiated into a strict BDSM relationship. But I want to look at the specifics of this because this is where I started to struggle. Ray is the dom, Colin is the sub, but this isn't just bedroom foreplay. This is a lifestyle. Colin cooks, Colin cleans, Colin does the shopping, Colin shaves his head to match the biker aesthetic. And what was most disturbing to me was Colin sleeps on the floor at the foot of Ray's bed every night. And in return, Colin gets an intense, controlled sexual relationship. He gets to be close to this godlike figure. But is it erotic? Not really. Colin isn't in pup gear licking boots for pleasure. Sometimes he's scrubbing the floor and Ray isn't even there. To me, it felt like he was just paying a toll to be near Ray. So, is this abuse? I have to ask, is this what a BDSM relationship looks like? Does the sub just become an unpaid 24/7 servant? Again, I'm not educated in this specific area and I'm genuinely open to being educated by viewers in the comments. But from my perspective, as someone who considers themselves pretty shy themselves, if I went to a guy's house and a date told me to cook dinner and sleep on the floor, I'd be gone. I don't care if he's the hottest man alive. Ray treats his actual dog better than he treats Colin. A dog has needs. You feed it on a schedule, you walk it, you care for it. You don't have a transactional sexual relationship with the dog. Ray uses Colin for pleasure and labor and offers 0 boundaries or respect in return. Colin is Ray's slave, not his sub. That's why I found myself siding with Colin's mom, Peggy. As her dying request, they finally get Ray to come to dinner. And she just looks at him and says, "I don't like the way you talk to my son. What's your deal?" And I was like, yeah, Peggy, he's a dirtbag, kick him out. Because he is. When Peggy dies weeks later, Ray doesn't even go to the funeral. He is a piece of shit. The film is smart though. It doesn't just show us Ray and Colin. It shows us the biker gang on a road trip. We see other doms and subs. We see a sub named Kevin telling Colin that he couldn't imagine not kissing his dom. We see affection. We see Kevin sitting beside his partner. This proves that Ray's behavior isn't just how BDSM works. It's specific to Ray. It's cold, it's broken. Colin is an outsider even among the bikers. No one breaks the ice with him. He is isolated in every world he enters. The tension finally breaks. Colin is grieving his mother, the one person who actually loved and tried to understand him. He's overwhelmed. He's cooking Ray's dinner one night, and in a moment of disassociation or just pure agony, he deliberately burns his hand on the stove. It's shocking, and for a brief second, Ray shows care. He bandages him. He lets Colin sleep in his bed. Ray even unknowingly cuddles him in his sleep. It's the first scrap of tenderness Colin has received, but I don't think it was compassion. I think it was just the less cruel thing to do in the moment. Ray felt a flicker of guilt, or maybe he just didn't want a damaged toy. It wasn't a breakthrough, it was maintenance. But the next morning, the walls go back up. Colin asks if he can sleep in the bed again, maybe even have a day off a week from being a sub. And Ray flatly refuses. And Colin finally snaps. He steals Ray's motorbike and rides off into the night. It's a moment of rebellion we've been waiting for. And then comes the day off. When he returns, Ray surprises us. He agrees one day off, a normal day as a normal couple. And I don't think Ray was being nefarious here. I think he was genuinely surprised by Colin's outburst. It was curiosity. Okay, let's try it your way. And this scene was revealing. Ray asks, "What do you want to do?" And Colin's ideas are nothing. Thai food, see a movie, walk in the park. They are the most generic suggestions possible. It reveals that Colin has no interiority. He has no imagination. He's been so sheltered by his parents and then so controlled by Ray that he doesn't even know who he is or what he likes. They go to the cinema, Ray jerks him off. Ray even suggests a sing-off in the town square because he knows Colin likes singing. It's a moment of Ray actually trying to engage with Colin's interests. And then comes the most heartbreaking part, the park scene. They wrestle, they share the first and only kiss, and this is the key shot of the movie. The camera gives us this unflattering, fisheye angle of Colin on top of Ray. It's a little more subtle than that, but it's definitely not a romantic shot, and it's pretty grotesque. And when we see Alexander Skarsgård's eyes, we don't see love. We see rejection. We see a mix of disgust and fear. Why? Because a kiss is too real. Extreme sex is about sensation and release. A kiss is about connection. It's your face on someone else's face, and Ray can't handle that. He can't handle being intimate. He sees Colin as a real person, and in that moment he realizes, I do not want to be with this person. And then he literally disappears. Colin goes to Ray's house and it is empty, cleared out. Ray moved away without a word. It is the ultimate ghosting, and honestly, it's tragic but not devastatingly so. And in my mind, I was like, of course, that's exactly what this piece of would do. Colin returns to his dad's house. He goes back to the barbershop quartet. He's back in the infant role, and then we see him download Grindr. And I was thinking, okay, where is this going? Is he going to find someone nice? Did he learn his worth? Colin goes to a soccer match. He sees a beautiful man on the sideline that I assume he connected with on Grindr, and he walks up to him, and immediately, wordlessly, he kneels down and ties the man's shoes. There is a shift here. Colin does it without being asked. There is definitely a new confidence, a new sense of boundary. And as they walk away, that's emphasized when we hear dialogue where Colin says that he expects to have days off. He has learned. He is negotiating, but I really disliked it because the new man, he's exceptionally hot, just like Ray. And it implies that Colin has just swapped one beautiful, distant master for another. It feels like the movie is saying, if you aren't conventionally attractive, if you're shy, if you don't have a dating history, this is what you have to do. You have to pretzel and twist yourself into the most extreme dynamic just to get a scrap of attention. I found myself really frustrated with the answer the movie was giving me. As someone who struggles with dating, who struggles with self-esteem, this definitely hit a nerve. It felt like a cynical betrayal of Colin's potential. Death to heteronormativity, yes, absolutely. I shouldn't have to be in a traditional relationship to make straight people comfortable, but do I have to go to this extreme? Is there no middle ground? Is this new relationship supposed to last? Or are gay men in this world meant to only have transactional relationships for short periods of time? I might be being too sensitive, bringing my own baggage into this, but in that silent theater with just 3 of us, it felt incredibly loud. So what is Pillion really about? The word pillion refers to the seat behind the rider on a motorcycle. It's the passenger seat. And passenger makes me think of passivity. You are taking the back seat in someone else's life. And maybe this movie is just an extreme leather-clad metaphor for the back seat everyone takes in relationships. For example, the person who moves across the country for their partner's job, the person who becomes a stay-at-home parent while the other is the breadwinner, things like that. Maybe this reveals more about me than the movie, because I have a problem seeing the difference between passivity and control. You are relinquishing control. And as someone who is admittedly kind of controlling, maybe as someone who's the same age of Colin in this movie, this strikes a particular chord. You can't have a relationship without vulnerability. And I associate passivity with vulnerability, which honestly terrifies me because to be passive is to be open to being taken advantage of, manipulated, controlled, just like Colin was. But being vulnerable is also the only way to create connection. Colin ends the movie choosing to be the pillion again. He chooses the backseat. And is that tragic, or is that him finally accepting who he is and what he wants? I would say the MVP for this movie has to be the performances. The film lives or dies on the chemistry between Harry Melling and Alexander Skarsgård, and they pull it off so well. Melling is heartbreaking as this hollow man, and Skarsgård, he weaponizes his beauty in a way I've never seen before. He makes you hate him, crave his approval, and pity him all at once. And my final verdict, as I said before, Pillion gets a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's bold, explicit, surprisingly funny, and powered by phenomenal performances. And I think the film is a brilliant exploration of loneliness. But that ending broke my heart in the wrong way, I felt. I wanted Colin to grow out of the shadow. Instead, he just, what I felt like was a new shadow to stand in. And I'm genuinely conflicted. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially if you were in that theater in Santa Clarita with me. Hello. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please like and subscribe. I'm driving to random theaters so you don't have to. Thanks for watching.